Hello everyone and welcome to a game called The Forest Deep, bro. The Forest is super hashtag deep. It has like some pretty interesting poetry going on there. You know, we're going deep into the forest as mine. We're gonna get to know the forest inside and out. Let's just go ahead and start the game and figure out what it really is about, because I don't think it's about getting to know the forest on a deeper level. They say the scarlet leaves of autumn hold many secrets. If you listen close enough, you can almost hear the cacophony of mysteries they try so desperately to convey before they wither in the winter with secrets left untold. If only that were truly the case, but it's just prose. The dying leaves on autumn trees cannot tell us where the missing have been stolen away. If they could, perhaps the long path through the forest, once walked by many travelers and merchants, would not have been abandoned out of fear. The forest is stealing people away, they say, as if they never existed. So the people, as people often do, took to grief instead of hope. Even the renowned young knight who entered the forest to find those who'd gone missing became just another vanished person. Any remaining hope dwindled. When the news spread that the knight had not returned, I was the only one willing to go into the supposedly cursed forest and find him. Ooh, this is gonna be a fun story. This is quite possibly the stupidest idea I've ever had. I shouldn't be here. Every bone in my body seems to freeze as I approach the forest. My instincts tell me to turn around, to get as far away from this place as possible. I can feel some sort of awful magic emanating from beyond the trees, and yet despite my better judgment, I know I can't just leave. I have to find him. The people in the town told me he went in just a few days ago. Even if he isn't there, he cannot have gone far, and I'll be able to track him. Goodness. Of course that fool would go into this terribly eerie forest by himself, looking for everyone. I wonder if he even remembered to wear his armor. He's known far and wide for saving people, but the one thing the bards won't sing of is how foolhardy he can be. Then again, I suppose I'm not one to talk. Not only am I alone, but the sun's already down. Still, I don't think I have the luxury of waiting until tomorrow. Sneaking out was hard enough. No turning back then. If it means finding my brother, I'll just have to be a fool. Stealing my resolve, I take the first step into the forest. The chill in the wind is my only welcome. Here we go, boys. Deep into the forest. The further I ventured into this forest, the stranger it seems. I can't tell how far I've gone because everything around me looks exactly the same as it did 30 minutes ago, and yet every time I look behind me, I have seen the entrance of the forest. I've certainly made progress, but I've also certainly passed this exact broken tree at least 3 times now. I don't dare to fully turn around, or I might forget which way is which. There's this strange magic at work here, for sure, but I can't tell exactly what's going on just yet. I need more information. All I know right now is that there's nothing around me. No sound at all. I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing, given how quiet it is. Usually that means there's a predator around there, so that's probably a very bad thing. Normally you would hear the skittering of animals, or maybe an owl in the night, but there's nothing. Even the wind doesn't seem to rustle the leaves on the trees. It's still. I'm only comforted by the sound of autumn leaves crunching under my boots, as if more than welcome among the silence, until that same sound comes from behind me. Who's there? Show yourself! I whip my body around to face the potential threat, only to be greeted by 2 strangers, now shielding their eyes from my lantern in their faces. When did these 2 get behind me? I should have heard them sooner. Everything else is so quiet, after all. They're the predators, aren't they? They're the bad guys. Did they sneak out from the trees or something? They could have just been trying to ambush me, but they certainly aren't dressed like brigands, not to mention no weapons on their person. That I can see, anyways. As I'm trying to decide how afraid I should be of these strangers in front of me, the dark-haired one laughs awkwardly. Ah, goodness, didn't mean to startle you so badly. We're just a tad lost, and you're the only person we've seen for a while. I look them up and down, still examining for anything suspicious. Something about them seems off, but I can't put my finger on it. They're skinwalkers. Sorry. Every time silent forest, random people come up to you, skinwalkers. Sorry, it's a skinwalker. There's already a strange sense of magic in this forest, so maybe it's my imagination, but I sense something from these two. I just can't tell exactly what it is. Do you think you could help us? Maybe these are some of the missing people. I don't recognize them, but I haven't been into town in many years. They could just be travelers. Hello? I snap back to reality, hearing the stranger address me again, and realize I haven't said anything. Has it really been so long since I've forgotten how to talk with strangers? I probably seem just as suspicious as them right now. Oh, right, I'm sorry. What did you say your names were? We didn't, but since you asked. The stranger chuckles and gives a small bow. Judas, a pleasure, and my little sibling, Ellie. I do apologize, though. They're a bit quiet. The more nervous of the duo, Ellie, just gives an awkward wave. They look like they want to say something, but they don't. Oh my god. And you are? Ellie tilts her head, as if asking me the same question. I give the two of them one more once-over. They don't appear dangerous, but something's still off. I give two of them one and more once-over. They don't appear to be dangerous, but, I'm gonna go back. But something's still off. Being polite couldn't hurt, though, right? I'm Rune. Well met. My apologies for not answering you sooner. I'm just a bit on edge. I see. Yes, this forest does well at putting you on edge, doesn't it? Well, rest assured, we are likely in more danger approaching you than you are of us. We lost our lanterns and our supplies out in the forest. Yes, came after us when we started setting up camp. An animal of some sort. We had no choice but to abandon our supplies. We got away, clearly, but we ended up getting lost. Oh goodness. Something came after you? Do you know what exactly it was? I haven't heard of many wolf or bear attacks in this forest. Now that I think about it, the only danger in this forest I've ever heard of has been from whatever is causing people to disappear. Not sure. Neither of us got a good look, but it certainly wasn't a person. That aside, I don't suppose we could stick by you for a bit. It's a trap! It's a trap! I'm gonna call it. It's a trap. They are trying to get me lost. The two of us are less concerned about our supplies and more concerned with just getting back to our town. You're carrying the only light source around for, well, potentially miles. I suppose that's fine if you don't mind walking all night. I'm not exactly going back to town for a while, and it's kind of a long way. Fine with me. I don't think either of us could sleep very well tonight anyways. Ellie nods, so I shrug. They seem harmless enough for now, and I'm not going to leave two strangers wandering in the dark. If things go south, I can more than defend myself. I'm no knight, but magic hasn't felled me yet. Magic is about to fell you, buddy. Three of us walk together further down the forest path. I make sure not to let them behind me, keeping pace with them, at least at my sides. Perhaps it's paranoia, but I can't shake this strange feeling about them. It's better to play it safe and keep them in my peripheral vision. I make a note not to tell them about the force seems to be looping just yet. Dealing with this as discreetly as possible will ensure the least amount of problems for me when I go home. However, now I have two strangers next to me to pay attention to, as well as looking for clues. Speaking of said strangers, the silence between us doesn't stretch more than a few minutes before Judas starts asking me questions. So, we're just passing through this way, but what about you? Are you a traveler as well? Ah, well, I'm looking for someone. My brother. Maybe you could help me out with that, actually. He's a young knight, quite tall, with a very freckly face. Oh, and he has a strange tattoo on his shoulder. It's quite intricate and hard to miss. Ellie and Judas both look at each other for a moment, perhaps in confusion. Ellie looks nervous, but they haven't stopped looking nervous ever since I saw them, so... We haven't seen anyone like that, no. You're the first person we've seen for a while. That's odd. He's quite difficult to miss. I wonder if he's no longer here. But then, where would he be? No one at all? That's odd. A lot of people have gone missing here. So, I thought maybe you have seen at least one. Bro! They're missing because nobody's seen them. How can you assume that these two strangers have seen somebody? Jesus. That's kinda dumb, not gonna lie. Then again, I suppose they're called missing for a reason. Yeah, there you go. There's the logic. Wait, really? That's concerning. If we'd known that, we wouldn't have come here. You haven't heard? At least 12 locals have gone missing here recently. As well as many travelers who came this way and haven't been seen since. Ellie looks freaked out. That's not even mentioning who I'm looking for. The people in this town should have warned you. Ah, we didn't know. We didn't really talk to the locals in town. Gee, I wonder why. Not at all. Knowing the people from my hometown, they'd never let strangers wander off with no direction, especially not into a forest that's become notorious for vanishing people. You have a harder time avoiding people than not, I should know. Maybe things have changed since I've been gone. Okay, well, did anything weird happen before you entered, or even while you've been here? Other than being chased by a strange creature, no. About that, are you sure you can't tell me anything about it? Lights, strange noises, or even a weird scent? Anything that comes to mind? No, nothing at all. It was dark. I also wonder why this guy's ear is discolored. If it's supposed to be like that, or if it's there like that for another reason. I just noticed that. No, nothing at all. It was all dark. Well, he was quick to cut Ellie off. These two might know more than they're letting on. At best, it was a little rude, or at worst, it was deliberate. It was probably some sort of overgrown wolf. It doesn't seem magical or anything. Besides, we already got away from it. I don't know. Don't wolves usually come in packs? I think we... Oh no. Judas shoots a cold glare at Ellie, who seems to choke on their words as they avert their gaze. How subtle. At least I have my answer. Not only was that rude, but he is almost certainly making Ellie hide something. I need to find out just what that is. Though, admittedly, I don't have time or energy to dance around it. I try my best not to let their growing frustration show. I'd rather this be easy. I need all the information I can get on what is going on to ensure all of our safety, so I'd like to hear what you have to say, Ellie. Judas sighs, but he is not contesting. So, Ellie, you were saying? Wait, don't move. Judas stops all of us, looking around. Though I'm confused, I start inspecting my surroundings, making sure to be deathly quiet. As I listen, a strange, chirping noise reverberates through the forest. If it's an animal, it's not one that I've ever heard. The sound almost seems to distort as it echoes. From the corner of my eye, a shadow flickers behind the trees. It's so fast the autumn leaves rustle in the force of its stride. The sound seems to be coming from it. A presence so familiar, yet like nothing I've ever sensed. My entire body runs cold in a chill. Its energy is so dark, and my throat is so tight, like I'm being choked. This certainly isn't another mage. I'm not even sure if this is a person. All I can tell is that it seems to be circling us from the way the shadow darts back and forth between the trees. The second Judas spots it, his entire body goes rigid. Weird faces that these people make. Judas grabs Ellie's wrist rather forcefully and begins running ahead of me with them in tow. I don't move, however. This might be exactly what's trapping us here, and if I know what it is, I know how to deal with it. The most I can catch are glimpses of a silhouette through the trees, slightly hunched but definitely on two legs. It's hard to make out details in the darkness, even with a lantern. The familiar feeling strikes me again when I look at whoever or whatever it is. It couldn't be though, right? Alas, it is. Is that you? A figure stops, turning to face me. I can make out two large white eyes fixed upon me. The shadow of a figure just stands there and stares through me. A chill runs up my spine, and I'd run too, but my legs won't listen. Countless whispers from voices I've never heard before flood into my mind. Their words blend together until it's completely incoherent and entirely overwhelming. I'm snapped out of my fear by someone taking my hand. Rune, please. We can't stay here. Ellie pulls my hand, ushering me to run with them. I don't stop them. Something tells me that I can't fight this thing head on. Ahead, I see Judas looking over his shoulder, but still running. As we run, I hear leaves scattering, and the shadow disappears from behind the tree, but I hear it behind me, as if the back of my mind. Blindly throwing a spell behind me in fear, I keep running, hoping to at least distract the creature or mobilize it for a bit. Thankfully, we all seem to get away. I don't know how, given how fast the shadow was, but maybe my spell helped. We're able to rest at least, and as far as any of us can tell, we're no longer being pursued. As I catch my breath, I stare at glare. I'm quite certain you couldn't mistake what we saw for a wolf. What's really going on? At first, I think Judas can't answer me because he's catching his breath, so I wait. Then, I get a better look at his face. Judas doesn't seem to be listening to me, looking like he might snap at any moment. He's staring into his hands, gritting his teeth. Ellie takes a few steps back. That damn thing, how long is it going to follow us? How fucking vengeful can a half-dead soul be? What did you do? Ellie covers her mouth in shock. They shake their head, as if telling me to stop, or maybe telling Judas. Answer me! That creature used to be a person, didn't it? What did you do? Judas snaps his head towards me, gritting his teeth like an animal ready to strike. I ready a spell in my hand, preparing to strike back at any moment. The magic in my hand is volatile, as many emotions surge through me at once. I've never seen a person magically twist like that creature into nothing more than a shadow. For someone to be able to do that to another person, it shouldn't be possible. I can't imagine such horrible magic. I can't imagine such cruelty. Instead of attack I was expecting, however, he breathes a deep sigh. Brushing some of his hair out of his face, his tone goes flat and cold. No, this is perfect, isn't it? After all, I sense a lot of power in that little spell of yours. And what the hell is that supposed to mean? Ellie, why don't you tell them? After all, you know exactly why we're here, don't you? I... Ellie takes a step back from both of us. Judas just sighs. The spell in my hand sparks, barely held together in my frustration. You're coming with me. You'll answer to a higher authority for what you've done, even if I have to drag you out of here myself. Oh, that's cute. So sorry to ruin your plans, but there will be no fighting between us. Don't make me repeat myself. I won't hesitate to fight if I must. Don't you believe me? I'm telling the truth. We don't need to fight. Look into my eyes and just see how sincere I am. Oh no. My entire body freezes, paralyzed where I stand. I can't even move my mouth to speak. If this were a normal spell, I could have countered it, but this doesn't feel normal in the slightest. My mind is racing, trying to think of what to do. What exactly is he? He's certainly no average mage. The spell I'd prepared in my hand fizzles out, and nowhere to go. I suppose brave stupidity must run in your family. What a shame. I sense such immense power from you, little mage. Thankfully, it won't be wasted on you much longer. It runs in my family? Then that means... Oh God. He means Atlas, does he? Atlas probably tried to stop them, and Judas turns to Ellie once again, who's refusing to look at anyone. Are you just going to stand there, Ellie? Or are you perhaps so absent-minded that you forgot the reason we came here? No, I haven't forgotten. Ellie struggles to speak, stuttering nervously. I don't think they want to be a part of this. Judas rolls his eyes in response. We don't have time for this. Just remind me not to expect anything from you in the future. But as I'm such a good big brother, I'll help you just this once. Watch closely so I don't have to hold your hand next time, Ellie. After all, a demon prince can't be called forever now, can they? This is so much worse than I thought. Even if I wasn't bound by his spell, this is too dangerous. If they're really demon princes, there will be no trace of me to find. That must be what happened to Atlas. I do my best to struggle against the magic to no avail. Come now, quit making such a face. It doesn't have to be like that. After all, it's such a lovely night, wouldn't you agree? You truly couldn't have happened upon a better night to be your last. Judas laughs and reaches a hand out towards me, grabbing my face and forcing me to make eye contact. I try to look away or close my eyes in hopes that the spell won't affect me that way, but I have no control. I can't even scream. There's a biting sting in the back of my mind, like pricking my finger on the needle repeatedly. The world around me starts to blur, and I can only see his eerie glowing eyes. Don't worry. As long as you don't try anything stupid, this won't hurt a bit. And it'll all be over soon. I'm even being so kind as to fully numb your senses. But I'm sure you figured that out by now. You're such a smart mage. Judas laughs. There's a haze fogging my mind, and I can't seem to break out of it. Any thoughts I have are drowned out by his words, and gradually I begin to lose myself. Every word he speaks seems to echo in my mind, drowning out my own inner voice. It's like I'm slipping away. See, Ellie? This isn't difficult. I've already done the hard work of binding them. All you have to do is finish the job. Judas shoves me away so roughly it'll knock me over if he didn't grab my shoulder to stabilize me. My world spins even after he catches me, as if I might drift from my own body. See, they can't even stop themselves from falling. No threat at all. You bind them, numb their mind and senses, and soon enough, they can't do a thing to stop you. I'm sure even you can do this with ease someday, dear sibling. Enough of that, though. It's time for you to finally become a proper demon prince. What does that mean? What are they planning? I panic at the implications, trying desperately to think of something I can cast to get myself out of this mess, but any spell I can think of requires me to move. Is there a problem? Well, no, this feels really wrong. By the gods, you're still on that. We discussed this. You think like a mortal. Lowly concepts such as right and wrong are simply not applicable to us. There is no circumventing thousands of years of tradition, and there is no other way to fully gain your powers. End of story. I know, it's just, what if I didn't? What if I just stayed as I am? Please tell me you're joking. While I already can cast some spells, I don't see the need in hurting someone to become stronger. Damn it, Ellie. It's not just about magic. You know how important this is, and you've been putting it off long enough. If we go home empty-handed now, our fathers will blame it on me. And who knows what hell they'll put me through. Do you really want to do that to me? No. I never want to cause you trouble, but then stop wasting time. I can't feel anything. Not even the sensation of Ellie grasping my hand. All I know is that I can hear the way their breath shakes, and see the nervous look on their face as they make eye contact with me. I brace myself for death or whatever twisted magic they may cast, hoping that since I've lost all sensation in my body, that it won't hurt. Ellie stares into my eyes, but theirs don't glow the same way Judas does. All I can do is stare back at their wavering gaze with fear. After a moment, Ellie breaks away and shakes her head quickly. Judas, I can't do this. Please, let's just go home. I'm sure our fathers will understand. I'll tell them it was my fault. Just don't make me do this, please. You were always such an idiot. What? Consider this yet another demonstration, dear sibling. Judas shoves Ellie away, who hits the ground with a thud. I want to take this opportunity to get away, but it's like I'm watching the world through someone else's eyes. I can't make any moves to influence it. All I can do is watch, like a ghost with no body, detached. Judas clutches both of my shoulders with his hands, glowing eyes staring through mine. We could have done this the easy way, but this will have to do. Sensation returns to my body all at once, but in the worst way imaginable. Every nerve in my body lights up in pain, and I can feel Judas' sharp nails, like almost claw-like, digging into my shoulders through my clothes. The pain radiated through me. It's sharp and searing, like being ripped away from myself. It's so horrible. I want to scream, lash out, but I can't move. And by now, it's far too late for me to do anything. He's draining my soul from me. Stop, please. You don't have to do this, Judas. Just let them go. If you want to reject your nature, so be it. But I'm making up for your mistakes. I will be strong enough for both of us, and you can continue living in shame. Won't that be nice? Maybe I can keep you from being a total outcast, provided you stay under my wing. If I could scream, I would be wailing, but pain intensifies with every moment. And in the corner of my eye, I can see Ellie panicking, nearly screaming, "You're going to kill them!" Don't be stupid, Ellie, that's a given. Food exists to die and to be consumed. I watch as Ellie tries to pry one of Judas' arms off of me. Please, please stop, I don't want this. Gods, would you shut up already? You make it so hard to focus. You've already made a monumental mistake tonight, so at least be useful by staying out of this. No, I told you to stop. Using some kind of spell, Ellie pushes Judas back and stands between us. Judas' spell on me isn't entirely broken, but it's interrupted just enough for me to move. For a brief moment, a scream escapes me and I fall to my knees. My lantern falls as well, shattering on the ground below. Rune. Judas scrunches his face in pain. Interrupting the spell must have hurt him as well. Ah, just how stupid do you have to be, Ellie? Time and time again you proved to be the shame of this family. I'm giving you one last chance. Do something right for once and step aside. Ellie flinches, but they don't move away, glaring at Judas as I try to reorient myself. This looks like it's going to be a fight. I need to stand. My patience is wearing thin. I won't ask you again. I don't want to fight you. We can still leave. Ellie's voice falters. Their hands are shaking at their sides. What a shame. In a sudden motion, Judas strikes at Ellie with his claws. They barely dodge, and I'm left with moments to react as well, but I'm just able to roll out of the way of the fight. It seems I'm slowly regaining control of my body, but with that comes immense pain that lingers in my every limb. I manage to pull myself to my feet despite it. Rune, get out of here! Ellie is barely keeping up with the dodging Judas attacks, and they aren't fighting back. It's only a matter of time before they're hit. I have to do something. I'm not letting someone sacrifice themselves for me. A spell would hit Ellie too easily. Instead, I grab a sharp rock from the ground and take aim. Hey, Judas! My voice is still weak, but I grab his attention just long enough to throw the rock straight at him. It's a little off kilter and it doesn't do much, but it's a great distraction. In the brief opportunity, Ellie's hands glow bright with magic, and they throw their hands over Judas' eyes and behind him. Ah! I'm sorry! Ellie pulls back and Judas doubles over, holding his eyes. You brat! You brat! Judas blindly strikes all around him with his claws, while Ellie rushes to take my hand. Come on, come on! Grasping my hand tightly, Ellie pulls me along to run while we have the chance. For a moment, I'm not sure if my body can take it, but frankly, there's not much choice. Even if I think I'm going to collapse, I have to keep going. The two of us run. A horrifying scream of rage echoes from behind us. Get back here! I'll kill you! I'll kill you both! My world is practically spinning, but my legs don't stop as I'm pulled forward by Ellie faster than I could normally run. I don't look behind me. I can't bring myself to. I listen as Judas' screams fade behind us, nothing but a distant sound in the forest. Keep running. We keep running, and the further we go, the more pain I feel. It's becoming unbearable. Perhaps it was how far we ran, or the after effects of the spell, but I feel like I might collapse. My wheeze trying to get the words out. Ellie, wait. Ah. Ellie nearly jumps at my voice, but slows to a stop. I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. You must be exhausted. Let's rest for a minute. We should be safe for a bit. I lean against a tree and catch my breath as Ellie starts pacing back and forth. They're muttering to themselves, sounding like they're about to cry. What have I done? I can't go home. He'll kill me. I couldn't just do nothing, though. That was so stupid. I'm so stupid. I want to calm them down, but I find myself growing very weak. Actually, maybe it isn't weakness. I'm losing feeling completely. Unlike earlier, however, I can still move, and I'm finding myself unable to stand. I start to slump against the tree. As I try to speak again, but only make a small sound, Ellie turns to me. Their eyes are wide in shock. Oh my. I'm sorry, are you alright? Let me help you. It might sound strange coming from a demon, but healing is my strong suit. Ellie approaches me, reaching their hands out to me. As their hands gently brush the sides of my head, I can feel a familiar tinge of magic, but this time, not of a sinister nature. Judas' magic felt like mist and fog, the feeling of being lost and afraid. Ellie's magic feels more like running water in a creek or gentle rain on a window. I'm in a lot less pain. Either way, and I'm able to stay on my feet. Thank you. I don't fully understand the situation, but you saved me regardless. What? No, I'm one of the people who put you in danger in the first place. Please, don't thank me. I take a deep breath and center myself. I stand upright, though I'm still supporting myself on the tree. Ellie may be helping cure me of Judas's spell, but that doesn't change the fact that we sprinted for quite a distance. Ellie, like I said, I don't fully understand the situation. I'm just looking at it from the outside. Well, perhaps it's somewhat from the inside, seeing as I was involved in what just happened very directly. My point is that you could have killed me. It sounded like that might have been an easier option for you. Still, you chose to save me. For that, you have my thanks. Rune. I need to tell you the truth about all of this. I actually know what happened to your brother. Or rather, what happened to all the missing people. If what happened and with Judas just now isn't any indicator, I believe I can figure out what you're going to tell me. Well, yes, but there's something you should know. As you probably figured out, Judas took all of their souls except for one person. He just barely escaped. No, so he's still alive? I don't know for sure. Judas was almost done, you know? When the tattoo on your brother's shoulder started glowing, it interrupted the spell, and he ran. Seeing how frustrated Judas was after searching the forest, it's pretty likely he got away. I got separated looking for him, so I don't know if he's okay or why Judas gave up searching. He's sure to be here, though. Judas made me surround the forest with a spell that distorts the area so no one can leave. It centers on me, though, and once I leave the spell will break, so we will be okay at least. Goodness, I gave him that tattoo years ago as a protection rune I made, but I never thought it'd be powerful enough to stop a spell like that one. I don't want to get your hopes up, but I just thought you should know. Judas' magic is very powerful. There's no guarantee. Honestly, it's amazing that you're coherent right now, even with healing. I'm surprised too. It was not an experience I'd wish on my worst enemy. I mean, even knowing that Atlas might still be alive, I'm in no condition to find him. Not to mention that shadow creature. If that got to him, who knows if there's any trace of him to find. Ellie nods sympathetically. Right. I wish I could tell you more about the shadow, but I don't know anything. I think Judas knows something, but he won't talk about it. Even he seems scared of it, though. Ellie trails off, gazing directly into my eyes as if examining them. What? Your eyes. They aren't going back to normal. Is there anything wrong with my eyes? Please don't be alarmed, but they lost their color. I've seen what Judas does a couple of times. The eyes always lose color before death. You're still alive, so you have your soul, but your eyes aren't going back to normal. That sounds very bad. To be honest, I'm not sure what it means. Other than your brother, who ran off immediately. I've never even heard of someone surviving past as the first stage of the spell Judas used. It shouldn't have been possible. I have no idea what will happen to you from here. Well, goodness, that's reassuring. Still, I suppose it's not all bad. I am a mage. I suppose I could study how this affects me and write it down. It'd probably be the groundbreaking research if I'm the first person to survive this. Ellie gives a nervous chuckle, as if imagining it. Oh sure, great mage. But we have to get out of this forest first. Good point. I should be able to walk, but as for running, well, I may need a few more minutes. Walking is fine for now. I don't sense Judas nearby. Is it too much to hope that he went home? Perhaps, but let's go before we find out. The two of us continue down the path, Ellie making sure not to leave me behind by walking at my side. I'm not walking as fast as I'd like, but after a near-death experience, I'm glad to be walking at all. The good thing about walking slowly, whether by choosing to or not, is that I can study my surroundings more easily. I have to make sure Judas and the creature aren't following, but parts of me hope Atlas appears somewhere in those trees. Ellie is also looking over their shoulder, but not the same way I am. They look afraid, like something's going to jump out in any second and they look away. Hey, are you doing alright? Ellie nearly jumps out of their own skin before giving a shaky laugh. As well as I can be, considering. Right, well, do you want to at least talk about it? Filling the silence might help you feel less on edge. Ellie nods, anxiously fidgeting with their hands. I don't know what to do from here. I can't go home now, and Judas isn't going to let me run away, as much as I wish he would. Well, you could come with me. I believe I did mention that I'm a mage, but if you believe it, I'm actually a magical prodigy of sorts. Usually I live in a rather safe magical university, heavily warded, heavily guarded, all of that. I only came here to find my brother. You should come with me. I'm sure you'd be a lot safer there, and I didn't see anything on the enrollment papers barring demon princes from attending the university. It's a bit of an unusual place to hide, so I doubt Judas would look for you there. And I'm sure I could arrange something for you in regards to tuition. I smile, but Ellie shakes their head. I appreciate the offer so much, more than you can imagine, but people wouldn't accept me. There probably isn't a rule about demons because it's unprecedented. And if they accepted me, what then? Judas would find me eventually, and he might even bring my fathers. If my fathers got the wrong idea, if they thought someone there was holding me hostage. Ellie shivers. I can't imagine where their train of thought is going. I don't know much about demons, but if Ellie is a demon prince, their parents must be powerful demon lords. It's too dangerous to involve anyone in. I need to go somewhere he could never find me, but I don't know where. Ellie trails off, sighing heavily, but their words stick with me for a moment. Somewhere he could never find them. The words bounce around my head and it hits me. I actually do know of a place, somewhere where no one would ever guess. If they did somehow guess, they wouldn't even consider it a possibility. It's a place only known to me. Actually, I do have an idea of where you could go. It's going to sound impossible, but please believe that it's a very real option. What is it? I take a deep breath. I haven't revealed my work on this to anyone, but I have enough to know what I'm doing. The only thing I'm worried about is having enough power after being attacked earlier. It should be fine, however, I can manage. I'd say I've gone through worse, but I can make a portal that takes you to another world. Ellie's eyes widen and I don't blame them for being shocked. Portals to another place are extremely difficult to do, and portals to another world are completely unheard of, but I've managed it before. Isn't that possible? Impossible? For a regular portal, you need a whole group of people. Even making a portal from hell to here took a group of highly trained demons. Well, I'm a secret magical prodigy for a reason. I mean, I made a portal here on my own. A few hours ago, I was pretty much 2 countries over. I have to admit, that's impressive. Have you been to another world? What was it like? Oh no, I haven't ever gone in person. If I went through my own portal, there would be some problems. Talking about my passion project that I've been keeping secret for so long has got me excited. Or perhaps it's the lingering adrenaline. According to my theories, you have to remain in the world you're casting the spell in. If I went through the portal, then halfway through the spell would be interrupted. With the portal closing and me not fully through it, well, let's just say the result wouldn't be good, not in the slice. However, sending another person through a different story, since you're not the one casting the spell, but as for what it's like, well, I've only seen a glimpse of one other world, but it's beautiful. The buildings are strange, though. They're very geometric in nature. Some of them are quite tall. I once saw one of their cities at night. and there were so many lights. It's like they brought the stars to the ground to light the city. They have magic tools, the likes of which I've never seen, but I couldn't sense any magic at all. I believe it may be a limitation of the portal. It's just so bright and beautiful and strange. Goodness, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I haven't been able to tell anyone this. It's kind of a secret research. That's okay. It sounds amazing. I can barely imagine it. You're sure the portal is safe, though, right? Oh, of course. I wouldn't have suggested it if I didn't think it would be safe. I'm very capable. You're a demon prince, so you can handle the velocity of the magic with no issues. Not to mention, I once threw an apple through a particular portal. I made it into that world, and it landed completely unharmed. Though, someone did get hit on the head with an apple. Now that I think about it, that must have been confusing, considering there wasn't... she wasn't sitting under an apple tree. Ellie laughs, and it's nice to hear. They seem a lot calmer than earlier. Are you sure it's really okay? Can you handle casting such a big spell right now? Trust me. You've saved my life, and now I want to save yours. I reach into the pocket of my cloak for a few crystals I packed. Having magical tools are a big help, given that I'm a bit of a weakened state at the moment. I can do this. It might just be tougher than usual. Then again, I did blow a door clean off its hinges last week at a university, purely by mistake. Of course, it's always by mistake when shenanigans happens. In the way some people don't know their own strength, I don't know my own magical capabilities sometimes. So, I'll likely be fine. Hold still real quick. I begin laying out the crystals, 5 in total, so that they make a sort of large circle around Ellie. It's not the most complicated, but I don't need it to be. I simply need the tools themselves. Is there anything I can do to help with the spell? Not really. You won't be able to move once I start casting the spell, not until you're on the other side. I won't be able to stop casting the spell once it started either, or you could be in danger. As long as we work fast, there shouldn't be any trouble. What will you do? Well, I'm going to cast a spell. I mean, after I'm gone, you'll still have to get out of here. You might not have enough energy to make another portal and get yourself back home. Oh, that? I'll be fine. While I might be weak after the spell, that hasn't stopped me before. Besides, I'll be staying here a while longer to find Atlas. Knowing him, there's no way he didn't leave some kind of trace. Alright, I hope you'll be okay, but I'll trust you. Truthfully, I'm not quite sure about this. However, I have to try. I won't let them get killed because they saved my life. Taking a stick from the ground, I begin drawing the same signal. I'm used to practicing circles around the crystals, lines to connect them, and the complicated symbols near Ellie's shoes. I just have to trust myself and trust that all the practice was worth something, and trust that I can properly remember how to execute this book without my books. This is fine. Everything is going to be fine. In fact, I'm considering this field research. I've already learned better by practicing, right? Ellie must be catching on that I'm feeling a little nervous, because they start to look nervous too. Is this enough? It's what enough? These crystals and symbols. I know you say you're powerful, and I trust you, but is this really enough to make a portal? It looks so complicated when Judas and I were sent here. Well, not for most people. The crystals are just an emergency power source for me. I have enough magic on my own that I don't usually need many tools. You'll be okay, as long as we both stay calm. I promise you'll make it safe to the other side. Are you ready? Everything's in place. Wait, before I go, can you call me Ellis instead of my real name? I smile, extending my hand out to them. I take it Ellie was some sort of nickname given by their older brother, one they're not particularly fond of, so I'm counting this as our real meeting. And if this is what we've truly met, when we truly met, I might as well give a proper greeting, no? Alice takes my hand as I give them a firm handshake, or perhaps as firm as I can manage in my current state. Of course, Alice. It's nice to meet you properly. I'll remember your name, should we meet somehow again. It's a shame we'll have to part ways so soon. I think if we met under different circumstances, we could have became great friends. I think so too. I appreciate everything you're doing for me, regardless. I'm only returning the favor. If I let you die after saving my life, well, that'd be cruel, wouldn't it? Do you need a moment? There's no turning back as far as I know. Alice takes a deep breath, steadying themselves. No, I'm ready. Thank you, Rune. I nod to them and begin the spell. May your path lead you to safety. As I begin the spell, crystals come alight with my magic. I draw power from them as the symbols I drew begin to glow as well. I focus all the energy I have left into this spell. I need to get it perfect. Closing my eyes, I visualize the other world. Remember seeing the forest there too, so I try to focus on that to make it easier for myself. Reaching out my hands, I feel familiar sensations of the spell, like barely touching the surface of cool water and feeling the ripples of sound on my fingertips. The feeling of touching the boundary of another world never ceases to amaze me. It's both foreign and familiar, like a distant dream you swear you've had before. Something doesn't feel right, though. I know I'm doing everything right, but there's this feeling I don't recognize creeping up on my spine. Shuddering, I open my eyes without meaning to. I nearly break concentration in shock. There's something behind Ellis, and I know they can't, and sense its presence from the fear in their eyes. It's the same shadow I saw for the trees earlier, but it's struggling. It shifts and morphs, but trying to hold a humanoid figure. A strange fog permeates the air, seemingly coming from the creature. Whatever it's trying to do, I'm powerless to stop it, and so is Ellis. Neither of us can move or risk interrupting the spell. It's dangerous either way. Just stay calm, Ellis. Breathe. Everything's okay. I'm lying. I have no idea who or what the creature is, and if it seems to be trying to get into the portal as well. I can feel a twisted pain in my chest like thorns tearing through me, but I push through. No, Rune, you have to run. Just leave me. It'll be okay. I just need a little more time. I'm so dizzy. I can't stop now, though. One wrong move and the spell could tear Ellis apart, but that creature isn't exactly harmless either. I watch as the darkness seems to swell and take hold of Ellis, wrapping around their body and choking them by their neck. I can feel its presence taking root in my magic. Where I once felt cool water on my fingertips, I now feel ice so cold it burns through my hands. Struggling to stay conscious against the pain, I feel my throat tightening as well as I'm being choked. Am I feeling their pain? It's so heavy. I can barely breathe. I need to hurry and finish a spell before it can get through the portal. My mind is once again overwhelmed with countless whispers that I can't seem to make out. Stop it. Stop it. No, I can't let this distract me. I'm almost there, just a little more time. Rune! Oh. Rune. Run! My name's not Rune, it's Run! As the spell is complete, the crystals shatter all at once as my vision fades to darkness. I can feel a scream tearing my throat as pain sears through my body, and I fall to my knees. Forcing my eyes open, I see that Ellis is gone, and so is the creature. Damn it, no! It followed them, but there was nothing I could do. No, maybe it didn't survive. It didn't seem like it could keep a consistent form. It probably couldn't have survived crossing into another world. Still, I can't shake this strange feeling. I'm so dizzy. I pick up the crystal shards, placing them in my cloak's pocket with shaking hands. Even though it's a simple motion, I wheeze, and it soon turns into a sputtering cough that I have to force myself through. Just what did this creature do to me? I feel so weak. Am I crying? There's something dripping from my eyes. No, it doesn't matter. I can't stay here and think about it. I feel like I've been touched by death. I have to get out of here before I collapse. With Ellis gone, I should be able to find the entrance now. I'm sorry, Atlas. Please be safe. Thank you for reading my first project. The story's ending is the beginning of another. The events set in motion will be revealed one day in a strange little town. Alright, so that was The Forest Deep by Moss Rosebard. So I think the indication is that this dark creature and Ellis have been sent to our world. So it was intriguing. A lot of things happen really quick. There's a strange dark creature, there's the demon princes, and there's the whole thing with Ellis's family. And then we literally sent her into another world, all in one go, despite everything we've been through. Because we are a mage prodigy, and we've been working on this very conveniently. The story has a lot going on in it, and that's all I can say about it, really. I can't really put my finger on anything else to say about it. You know what? I need to stop going into this. I'll just say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you all in the next one. Talk to you later. Goodbye.